Hi, this is Trish with Decant Designs, and today we're going to be making this cosmetic bag. I will be including the pattern instructions so you can make your own paper patterns for small, medium, and large sizes. Come along with me and sew. So the first thing I do is cut out 2 pieces of the Pellon foam because we'll put the outer part of the cosmetic bag on here and just sew some lines to make it look quilted. When you cut your fabric out to quilt with the Pellon, cut your fabric an inch or 2 bigger on either side to leave room for shrinkage and things. That's why we don't cut out the pattern and quilt it, because it will definitely shift a little. You don't want to mess up your fabric and have to do that again. Next, what I do is I lay both panels with the foam down, and I made a crease for the center, and I'll draw a line in the center with a Frixion pen. Winter says good morning. Then I just scoot the ruler over an inch and draw a line every inch to the end of the foam. So there's all the lines I drew, and now we're going to sew on the lines. I clipped both pieces to keep the fabric straight as I'm sewing. I'm going to sew at a 2.5 stitch length, and I'm going to start in the center and then do one on the center, then one on the right, one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, go back and forth like that. Just iron off your Frixion pen if that's what you're using. Next, you'll lay the 2 panels together with the quilting lined up. Set your pattern on the 2 pieces with the center line on the center line of your quilting, and then we're going to cut around it. Okay, next we'll cut out the panels with the paper pattern that you made. I do put a weight on the end of my ruler to stabilize it. And I'm using a 60mm blade because the 2 panels are thick. Next, what we're going to do is sew a 1/4 inch seam around the whole thing, just that will lock in all these stitches. Because obviously we didn't do a back stitch when we started, and now these loose ends are here, and we don't want them to come unraveled when the cosmetic bag is done. I'll do the other panel, and we'll move on to the next step. Next, we'll cut out the 2 lining pieces. Next, you'll cut 2 pieces of fabric for the interior pocket at 4.5 by 8.5, and I have medium weight interfacing, and I'm going to iron it onto one of those pieces. Next, turn the fabric right sides together and sew the 2 long edges and 1 short edge. I will start a 1/4 inch down and sew around and end at a 1/4 inch from the top. Snip off the corners. Next, we'll turn it right side out and press it. Next, you'll turn the other end down inside and press it. Next, I'm going to sew a top stitch right along here. Next, fold one of the lining pieces in half and crease it for the center. And there was already a crease there, so otherwise you would just fold it this way and get a crease for the center. Bend your pocket, get a crease, Put a couple of pins in to secure it where you want it. Okay, maybe. And then we'll start here and sew around to here. When I sew pockets on, I go diagonally at the corner a few times because in my experience, pockets tend to tear. So I'm going to do that and then sew around. Having a little bit of fun with color, making this cute pattern for the Hello Kitty. So I'm doing a bright pink zipper with a green pull, and I'm going to do the zipper tabs with the blue fabric that matches the lining. And I only use one layer of fabric for the zipper tabs. That's just me. You do whatever you need to do for your zipper. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these on the zipper. So what we'll do to assemble it is on one of the panels, put your zipper face down. Make sure the zipper pull is facing down so you don't run over it. Lay your lining on top of that, making sure everything's even, and clip it. You'll want to use a zipper foot on this next part to put the bag together. Next, you'll open that up. Lay the other panel on top. Turn that over. And lay your pocketed panel on top of the zipper. And we'll clip it. And here we go with the other side. Now we're going to sew a top stitch on both sides of the zipper. I put the green thread back in, and my 1/4 inch foot is back on the sewing machine. The very next thing I do is open this zipper halfway at least, because I have forgotten at times and I have sewn the thing shut. It's not very fun, so I've gotten into the habit of opening this. I'm going to trim the ends of the zipper tabs off. Next, you will put the panels together and the lining together. So we're going to sew this together, but we need to leave a space at the bottom of the lining so that we can turn it right side out. So I just put a line where we already have the center crease, and I'm not going to sew 5 inches. I'm going to leave that at whole. So I'm going to start here and end here, or vice versa. So make sure we back tack it here and here when we start and end. I only clipped the panel at the end here, the long side. So I'm going to start at the corner, and we're going to go all around except for the center on the bottom where we need to turn. I prefer sewing down one side, turning it over, and sewing down the other side. Next, we'll make the corners. So I stick my hand down in the whole thing, flatten the panel, so the seams here and the seams here. Measure 2 inches. Make a line. And we'll sew this across. Here's the other side. I'm going to trim the little excess that's on the lining. You do the same process with the lining as you did with the panels. Mark a 2-inch spot, make the line, and sew those corners. I'll meet you back here. We can now turn the bag right side out. Okay, just double check to make sure that you didn't miss a seam or there's not any holes or anything in there. And we'll move on to the next step. So what you'll do is turn the end of the lining in about 1/4 of an inch, I guess. It'll just kind of fall naturally. And press this. And we'll sew this together. And now we'll sew the bottom lining together. This is how the bag turned out. It turned out really cute, I think, using the different colors for this vibrant Hello Kitty fabric. Thanks for sewing with me, everybody. Please subscribe, like, and share my videos. I'd greatly appreciate it. For the patterns for you to make your cosmetic bags with, for the small, tape 2 pieces of paper together. At the center line of that, draw a line that's 10 inches. At the center line of the bottom, put it at 6.5 and draw a line that's 13 inches long, and then connect those. For the large pattern, draw the line at the top. I put the 7 on the center line of the paper, draw a line that's 14 inches. At the bottom, put your center line at 9.5, draw a line that's 19 inches, and connect them. For the medium, put 2 pieces of paper together. At the center line, put the 6, measure 12 inches at the top and draw a line. At the bottom, put your 8 on the center line, measure 16, connect them, and I just use a rotary cutter to cut out the patterns.